this episode of MyDrive with my co-host E, we cover top events, news stories, and some pretty funny life stories to boot. E, what's up?
What's up, man?
Back again to MyDrive to cover events and top stories of the week. And I think we're going to call this the Living in the Van Down by the River episode. I got stories.
You got stories? What happened?
I do. So anybody who's a Chris Farley fan knows that he's a master at like physical comedy. And he shakes his hands and he yells. He's very vocal and he's loud.
Like I just remember him like that.
Well, I had a Chris Farley experience at a store going home last night. I'm not going to name the store. Okay, good. But it was kind of hilarious.
Tell us.
So we were ordering something. If I say what we were ordering or picking up as one of those online pickups in the parking lot, I'll give away where we were at.
Possibly, yes.
I was picking something up from a store.
Heavy stuff.
Online ordering parking spots. I call it in. I go, hey, I give them my wife's full name because that's what the order's under. And the person that I called into came out and says, well, did you say it was under this name? And she mentioned the first name and the middle name, not the last name. My wife uses 3 names for undisclosed reasons. And I go, no, I said, and I gave her the 3 names. She goes, no, you did. You only said 2 names. I'm like, no, I always say 3 names because you guys have this system issue and I was just trying to be helpful. She starts walking away. She stops and then like crouches like Chris Farley looking right at me from 10 feet away with her hands kind of up in front of her and said, you're right, I'm wrong. And then shifted like Chris Farley again, her feet like moved in the air, like quickly, like 90 degrees, and then like stomped on in the store to bring out what we ordered. And I couldn't help but constantly be thinking of Chris Farley.
Please tell me you laughed. Did you laugh?
I laughed so hard. It's like,
now let's get started by letting me give you a little bit of a scenario of what my life is all about.
That's exactly what it felt like, is that voice. It was a lady.
But
that's all I'm going to say.
Resembled Chris Farley
kind of resembled Chris Farley in voice and just in voice and mannerisms.
I'm going to go there.
It cracked me up.
Check it
out.
So
I'm being nice. I'm not going to say what store it was,
I know
but I got yelled at.
I know this happened to you yesterday after a super long day.
Super long day.
And did it sent you into hysterical fits, right?
No, I was so tired. Funny. I had to laugh. It was like, that was, because it reminded me of Chris Farley. So it was funny, but she was serious.
But here's my concern. So she went kind of a little nutsy and then had to help you.
Yeah. Then we had the awkward, like 65 seconds of her loading the items into the back of the truck. I offered to help, but I guess they don't want help. Like, you can't do that at Walmart. You can't touch the stuff and you can't do it at this store. I think it's just policy. I prefer to help because there was a lot of stuff, but they didn't want it. And I don't think you're allowed to even tip them. Like, I think we tried to tip somebody at Walmart once because it was like a giant order.
My kids used to work at Fry's.
They don't allow
and they wouldn't allow you to tip them.
Why they don't do that? It's kind of uncool. Anyways, it was a Chris Farley moment. All I could think it was the screaming. So if you want to hear or you want to see a really funny Chris Farley classic moment, if you're not familiar, maybe you're too young or too old, just Google Chris Farley living in a van down by the river. And that episode comes up where he's kind of shouting.
Such very physical comedy, the whole.
So this is the Living in a Van Down by the River Chris Farley episode where we might shout and get excited. What's going on? What's one of the big events coming up?
I went to the Wranglers game last Saturday.
How was it?
I mean, atmosphere was great. They were playing the Frisco Fighters. And apparently these guys are super good in the division, and
Frisco's good.
I think it's like Frisco, Texas, or something. I don't even know. But
state is falling apart.
We have no offense, but then right at the end they switched out quarterbacks.
I am 35 years old.
Sorry, I had to.
Oh my gosh, I'm not 35 to be 35. So this week they're taking on the Sugar Skulls, which. I don't know.
The names themselves.
I'm going to tell you, this Frisco team, whatever the Fighters, they ran the same defensive play 118 times, and we couldn't figure out, like, hey, I think this guy's going to run up the middle.
Since we're speaking about a San Francisco team,
it was all over our offense. Our quarterback would step back. I'm being corrected by our guy, research guy on football.
He's smart. That's why he's here.
You could fight me on any other sport, but football. Our quarterback would step back. Our offensive line literally like paved a path for this guy to run up the middle and get our quarterback every single time. It was like they had no
Skulls. So, and is that their name?
Sugar Skulls is next week. Last week was Frisco Fighters.
So the Frisco Fighters. Let's talk about it. So speaking of a San Francisco team, I don't know how to segue into this appropriately without offending anybody.
Oh, good God!
This is the nature of our cultures maybe these days.
Yes.
I was on the phone with my dad. He lives in Palm Springs.
Yes.
And they have a high per capita of alternate lifestyles.
So like, are you saying like LGBTQ?
There are a couple new.
Yes.
And the Q stands for, is that queer?
Okay. So you and I are from,
I don't know, does it?
And you and I are from that same generation where that was a negative, right? Back in the day.
Yeah. We weren't supposed to say it, but apparently now
it's okay.
Research guy, can you see if it's appropriate to use the word queer as
that Q is questioning?
It's questioning.
What?
So we're completely wrong.
It's not
that Q, but you are correct in saying that is a more appropriate word to use now, definitely than it was 30 years ago.
So, because my dad's saying that it's used all the time, like where he lives, and it's completely appropriate.
See,
now, I don't want to assume that it is, because
you know what happens?
Canceled tomorrow.
Do you know what happens when you assume? We've got to be careful.
The LGBT, I was completely wrong about this. This is a sincere question.
So the Q is
questioning, not QUEER.
That is an okay word to say.
That is an okay word to say.
We don't have to spell it?
Except now, I just for liability reasons, research guy is saying queer is okay to say.
How old is research guy?
Father,
is he in 20s?
Who's mature.
As a straight guy who's not the one that should be educated on this,
right?
It is a reclaimed word in that community. They use it very freely with, they say...
What does reclaimed mean?
It was very harmful at one point. It's no longer
and so it's been washed and then reclaimed to be reused again
by that community.
Is it a
Do we have
Are we okay to say it?
Or do we have rights to use it? Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So research
because
guys
some people can
up.
say it about themselves because my best friend is, or they'll say so it's okay for like a white guy to say that.
Throw it around as as a slang word.
Because I told my dad the Chris Farley story.
My daughter is lesbian.
And somehow we got onto the word queer.
I was like, I hope I know some people. I should call my daughter.
And he lives in Palm Springs where there's a high per capita of alternate lifestyle. I don't even know what appropriate. I don't know what to say.
I'm messaging my daughter.
He said, oh no, you can say queer. We use it all the time here and that community uses it and they're all good with it. Okay, cool. It's so rapidly changing. I don't know what to say anymore.
Best mountain fruit trees and how to plant them. Now, have your landscape and eat it too.
Okay. That sounds awesome. Are we talking like orange trees and lemon trees, stuff like that?
So plant experts will be on hand after the class. It specializes in fruiting designs that can be eaten after planting. That's this Saturday, 9:30 to 10:30 at Waters Garden Center.
Awesome. Best mountain fruit trees and how to plant them now. Good old Ken Lane saves us from the fruit.
Saves the day. Thank you, Ken Lane.
Happy hour social at Rafter 11, Fridays, 5 to 11 p.m. Of course, they have specialty cocktails, artesian bread. I'm still laughing at they phonetically spell artesian for
still
me.
For us because
and bread.
We're so
bread. B-R-E-D. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for making us feel super smart today.
You.
Bread.
Wow,
Thank
dumbing
you.
It down for the hosts.
What
else we got? Prescott events to honor Granite Mount Hotshot's 10th anniversary. What is that all about?
I cannot believe it's been 10 years, but they have a whole bunch of stuff going on this next week. As we know, the The anniversary is June 30th. So
Friday,
they'll
June
have
30th.
events going the 28th, 29th, and 30th and various. I think the 30th, they've got the whole Prescott area kind of closed down around the courthouse for this.
Go to signalsaz.com and search for Granite Mountain Hotshot's 10th anniversary. You'll find it, folks. And then Prescott Valley's free summer concert series continues with the Chuck Hall Band Friday, July 14th. We'll mention this up until the event. It's always on the turf in Town Center at the ranch, right behind Colt Grill. What you got, E? What's next?
I was going to tell you just because I saw this the other day and it's not on our little list here to chat about, but 4th of July is on a Tuesday, but it sounds like they're doing some events in Prescott on that Saturday, the 1st. So I'm super happy about that. So put that on your calendars because.
So they're having July 4th on July 2nd.
Yeah, which is awesome because then you can.
Is that a Saturday then? Is that why they're doing it? Like a weekend?
I think it's the 1st. So yeah, because 4th of July is on a Tuesday.
Because all the retired people have something to do during the week? Or?
No, because I've got to go to work on Wednesday.
Okay, so it's for the actual people that go to
Luckily,
work.
we get Monday and Tuesday off, which is great. But then you got to, if you're staying up late for the fireworks, like 9 o'clock for me, that's a lot.
All right.
What else do we got going on? How to grow moonshine yarrow, a fuss-free. So Ken Lane's got some other stuff. So his podcast, they're growing moonshine yarrow. I thought he was making moonshine because if anybody could do it, it would be Ken. But it's some sort of
with fruit. You could ferment fruit.
You could. If he combined both of those classes together, I think we're in the money.
Would that be a very light-footed martini?
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
What's your boy TD doing?
Prodigal Sports Gun Torrance TD Dunham covering Central Arizona sports. Most recent episode, he is covering the rodeo as TD talks with board president Ron Owsley about the economic impact the event has on Prescott and the surrounding communities. And it has a ginormous impact. Save the rodeo. Keep it going. It's a big deal here in town. It's a week-long event, basically, right?
Yep.
I think it's worth
like
millions of dollars in tax revenue for the city of Prescott and the region for that matter. So
tickets are sold out. Did you know that?
What's that?
Tickets are sold out to the rodeo.
The tickets are always sold out. They just need new benches because it hurts my rear sitting on those
if they could have
things
some cushy, we need to bring like those pillows with us. Those little cushy pillow
That'd
things.
be great.
That'd be awesome. Artist Talk with Local Blacksmith presented by PV. So the Prescott Valley Parks and Recreation Department, we love our PV Parks and Rec. Casey over there.
Casey Van Heeren.
She's the best. Presents an art and culture event, Artist Talk, blacksmithing with local blacksmith. Is blacksmithing still a thing? Do you do that on the weekends?
It is.
Blacksmith?
Those guys are pretty cool. I've seen some pretty cool stuff.
Nice. So Dylan Cook, founder of Oso Blanco Ironworks. Oh, well, yeah. Okay. So I know Ironworks makes more sense to me, but blacksmithing, that's very cool. So this Artist Talk event is set for Saturday, June 24th and is free to attend.
Speaking of June 24th in downtown Prescott is one of their bigger events that Sherry Heine and the Chamber put on. They do such a great job in conjunction with the city, of course. The 46th annual Prescott Bluegrass Festival is coming to Prescott June 24th and 25th with the Sonoran Dogs headlining the event. Friday, 11 to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 11 to 3 p.m., Courthouse Plaza, downtown Prescott.
Nice.
What else you got?
I think that's it.
That's pretty much it. We covered quite a bit. We covered Chris Farley. We've covered the Q word.
I am divorced, and I live in a van down by the river.
So
we
that is the Chris Farley living in a van down by the river episode on MyDrive. What do you got to watch out for, E?
You're going to watch out for roundabouts, but I think you and I might be living in a van
down by the river
after this show.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
See ya.